strange because I went back to the site with the page with all minutes, and it wasn't there.
Oh, strange. Well,
Then
you
it's
fixed
still
it. Oh no, it's not. I see that on the chart on the table.
That's Wednesday. Do you want to start recording? Perfect.
PM Wednesday.
Jim, Timothy, since Mikhail had arrived and he didn't reply to my DM, I suggest that we should just start. I'll share the screen. Can you see the weekly tactical meet now?
For me.
Uh, hey, how are you?
Sorry for the run for the meeting schedule.
Great. Are you done with your certification or
No, not yet. Not yet. Yeah. So we don't what's going.
So, Akil, I haven't heard from him, and since it's more than 10 past or 10 past me. It's here. Still involved with LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Did we lose Gabby? Oh, Gabby, there you are. Gabby, I couldn't hear what you said. It lost you.
Yeah, I before I go up, I just want to tell everyone. I mean, inform everyone that the soft consensus poll
yeah,
is up.
yeah.
So
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
yeah.
All right. So about the LinkedIn, like we're discussing in the last tactical meeting
Oh,
that
sorry,
we had
Gabby.
our first
Please,
account.
Gabby,
Yeah,
can
on
you hear me?
Monday I got a mail from LinkedIn. We now have admin access to the account, so it's now up and running, and there's no need for a new one again. So post has been going up. Like I've sent two posts out this week. So that's basically the updates for the LinkedIn at the moment.
Perfect, thank you. Great. Can you say what you said one more time? Is it me that's having a shitty internet, or is it a general problem?
For me, you seem to be coming across fine without any lag.
Okay. Seems to be some problem somewhere. If we go into next task, the project plan Web3 PM course high level plan. We got some good feedback last week, and also thank you for the ones who participated in the discussion. I guess last weekend. Innovator 3 and I, we have taken it into account, and we're continue building. And I think we don't really have a new update at the moment. Is there any question or comments to this? I think we can put this one on completed. And then we have the other team course description. That's also the same task, more or less. On deck, ops department retrospective. Who was it that had retrospective? Cole, was that you? Or was it Hyperlight?
Yeah, for which guild or department?
Ops department retrospective.
Yeah, I was the one handling it, but it was being postponed. So, yeah.
Do you know? Do you have a new date or just postpone?
Yeah, we have a new date. They are trying to come up with that. I think probably in the beginning of the season or after. I think the beginning of the season. I think that's what they are trying to conclude on. But nothing for now.
Okay. And then repost PM Guild. Is this task yours, great? Did we lose great? Yeah. I don't think there's any more. So AV Guild retrospective recording. That's Hippolyte, and he is not here. And then the cheat sheet for talent lead. It's been to review, and there's no new comments. So put that also on completed. Then any comments to the tasks? I think we've done quite a lot this season.
Could you just clarify what you're asking for when you say comments to the task?
If there's before we finalize this part with the task, is there any questions to that part?
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
Thanks for asking, Skyfield.
Yeah.
Oh, Mikhail, how are you? Okay, Mikhail, we just completed the task board. Are you driving or will you join talking? Okay. Mikhail is driving, so we'll just continue. We have, I guess, at least two topics that we can discuss. the soft consensus. Great had something on that. And then, if nothing else, we have the Web 3 PM course project. McKeel, do you have any update on the soft consensus? If you can write some bullets, but while still driving safe, I guess.
Mm.
And while McGill is driving and writing, I don't know how many of you have actually spent time looking into the discussion we've started on the Web3 PM course. But we had some discussion Saturday, a week ago, where Innovator 3 and we proposed a budget and some thoughts, and we got really good feedback from Lynx and Skyfield and a few others. Skyfield, could you kind of give your take? Because I think you summarized it very well towards the end of the discussion. Is that okay with you to share your thoughts?
Oh no, I'm not muted. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Just to clarify, so this was the chat in the thread within the PM Guild forum room, and the chat heading is Web3 PM course governance thread. That's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's the discussion, and since we sort of have no topics for discussion, it would be really nice to just have a kind of open floor discussion on how do we actually do this, because I think this is the first time we start a project like this, and now we have Jay Fanny participating, so you can give some pointers on the financials and everything. So I think that could be very valuable for the project and the guild. Is that
okay? Well, unless there are any objections, I'd be happy to begin by summarizing what I put in writing in the governance thread.
That's a very good start, Scott.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, one of the things that is alive for me right now is that I am a newcomer to this guild, and I'm always looking for, if I share anything that misses the mark because of something I don't understand, I'm going to, I'm giving everyone sort of, I'm making the request ahead of time, like, please just go ahead and fill me in. And with that said, I was resonating a lot with one of Lynx's comments about just how to get to the point where this feels, I guess this feels like a safe investment, if it's okay to put it that way. Like so asking for funding for the next season, I guess is the terminology. And from my vantage point, what I've seen so far is that I think that the Web3 project management course is something that I'll use the term a mega project. It's really big, and the vision to actually fulfill it's going to be a tremendous amount of work, I think. And so my point was to say, well, how could the scope be reduced to something that could be shipped quickly, that is meeting a clearly identified need with whoever our first potential customers, clients, testers are. And I had thought maybe other, that would include other guilds within the community, but not limited to. So the idea would be just what's one module, what's one micro learning that we know would be valuable right away. So hence, like, shrinking the scope of the project from take our course and become a fully qualified Web3 project manager to what's a tension that that you are experiencing daily or weekly in your work in this DAO that this little micro learning project could help with. So for the terminology I used was add some new tools into your toolkit for how to work better in the DAO. So that was my thinking. I'll leave it there for now. And I don't know if that was a summary.
But it's a very good point of view, and I like that's a good start of the discussion. And Devon, do you have any thoughts on that, or anyone else? I think it's a very good perspective, and I guess it's the same as Link said. Also, find something smaller to start with. It's a little bit tricky. Innovator 3 has written quite extensive sort of course package where the aim is to kind of build an independent module for each of them, so you can do it in the order that you feel most interesting. And maybe build one of those before we start on the whole granular project, the whole course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, yeah. So, but what you're suggesting is kind of a market research, a little bit, do some interviews or a survey to figure out what are the first to touch on.
Yeah, and I had a very brief direct message chat with Makil a while ago. It was really helpful, but it's just reminding me that one of the questions that was kind of bugging me as a newcomer was just curiosity around what existing market research exists for to back up the argument that a PM Web3 PM course is going to have a return on investment, that there's a market for it. And if that could be done or needs to be updated, then that's probably a top priority.
Yep. And I think that you're hitting a very good point there, because on this project, to my knowledge, there hasn't really been any market projections. And it's a reoccurring topic from almost day one when Innovator 3 and I started talking about this. And it keeps getting repeated. So what we thought of would be to do a market projection to get some idea on the return on investment. And that's also very valuable for the whole bankless DAO, because there's a lot of proposals, and I haven't seen many, if any, of them that actually do an estimate like that. And if anyone you heard the Making Bank episode on Teal Bank, they're actually addressing that as something's missing.
May I offer a follow-up?
Yep.
So the other side of this is that I mentioned this term mega project before. I also don't want to give the impression that I'm saying that we need to now spend 6 months researching to know for sure that we have the perfect product in our imaginations before we even create it. So I think the middle ground is a sort of a more complexity informed approach where we don't want to hold ourselves up without seeking sort of perfection in terms of research and not moving forward until we feel like we've mitigated any potential risk. So this goes back to this idea of a small scale sort of safe to fail experiment. What could we ship? I like the expression. What could we ship by Friday? But what could we learn quickly that would be sufficient to inform the generation of maybe it's which of the micro lessons or segments or modules would we prioritize first, as an example, that we could get out the door quickly and get people using it and to start getting feedback so that we can further refine. That's so basically tightening the sort of the iterative loops so that we can get fast feedback, iterate quickly, and learn by doing what is a good fit for.
And then maybe wait for example, gamification. So I guess I'm not very familiar about how sealing works, but that could be something we added at the later stage. The things that seems more technical, difficult. Welcome, above average Joe.
PM. Just wanted to
Yeah.
say that you guys are in the PM, so you guys are the ones that should be claiming those bounties we were talking about on the community call slide deck.
I
So
know.
there's a few of them out there. Get them. I want to quit talking about them. I'm done. Go back to your regularly scheduled programming. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep, we do have those tasks on the bounty board. And Jay Fanny, are you there? Yep, we will return to the bounty. Yeah, is there anyone who has any comments or ideas connected with the Web3 PM course? Gabby, do you have any thoughts? I think it's either some poor connections today or it's a rough crowd at the last meeting on the season 8.
Skyfield here again. I'm checking the chat thread that we referenced earlier, and I see that McKeel had made a comment, a suggestion of a call specifically to address this, and even floated the idea of a short retro for where things are at now. But I would at least say that I think some meeting or work that's focused on just general sense making about where we're at now, and then can start to put together the plan or some ideas about how this could actually roll out. For example, where could we research to find out what people need to make that product market fit? And that might also help make it more clear who in the guild feels like they want to help energize this.
Yeah, I agree. And the challenge has been, it's been a lot of Innovative 3 and me doing a lot of thinking and writing those documents. We need to to be honest, I feel it's a little bit, when I notice myself, it's kind of our little baby right now. And it's always challenging to share, because then there's a lot of questions can't answer, and so I think some sort of a meeting where we walk through and discuss all the different approaches would be very helpful.
And to follow up, sorry, I know I keep talking, and I'm not trying to take up too much room here. I did want to just get this out. Was you'd also raised the prospect of bringing some more clear governance around this project, and that's something I'd be very happy to help with. Maybe it just needs to be chartered, and which would bring some clarity to a lot of clarity to the project, particularly at the beginning. What shape it's taking, who's involved, what good looks like, guardrails, etc.
That's very, very good. Is that something like you have up your sleeve, or do you need a lot of preparation for that?
Basically up my sleeve. Starting a project. That's standard practice for me.
Do you want to give just a brief introduction so everyone's informed of what you're talking about?
Oh, okay, sure. I mean, just off the top of my head, I won't do a share screen and show any templates right now, but simply project charter is a tool that I use, and I know other project managers also use it. Although, little tangent here, I don't identify as a project manager. I just identify as an organization designer, but I think there's a tremendous amount of overlap. Anyway, so a charter takes the form of a document that is basically outlining some really important aspects to what it takes to pull together a project or a team, for example. And it'll, clarify what's the purpose, any key strategic elements to it. Some really important things would be like, what are the constraints around this project? So what are its limitations? Those you typically take two forms. What are the governing constraints? So the boundaries beyond which the project won't go. But then the enabling constraints, which can be, it opens up a more creative conversation around within the boundaries that beyond which we won't go. What are some connections and relationships that we want to articulate at the beginning to make it more clear what ways we can be working? Some other things would be like, what roles do we think are going to be valuable on this project? And then importantly, you'll also want to be clarifying what are your metrics for success? How are you going to be checking in to see, are we seeing the kind of results we want to see along the way? So that's kind of in a nutshell what the charter is.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of the actual, what's the word I'm looking for? The rhythm of the work, particularly when it comes to governance, is that you want to establish ahead of time what is the cadence for actually stopping and checking back to see, is this actually going the direction that we expected it to go in? And then by bringing those, and at a project, that's the opportunity to just create that rigor of stopping, looking around, where did we get to? Are we where we expected we were going to go? And if not, where are we now? Do we like where we are? So it's just that, so it just helps to keep the project rolling in a very intentional way.
Mm.
So, and I say that so that the charter isn't just a document that's created and gets put on a virtual shelf somewhere and collects virtual dust, which can happen without the discipline to be going back to it continuously.
To me, what you're talking about is really to professionalize the project. I think it's very valuable what you're describing, and it's definitely a product that we could, when we do it a few times within the PM Guild, it's something that we could provide other projects outside the guild and outside the banquet style. To
Absolutely.
It could be like similar to we have the retro. We could sort of help new projects asking for a proposal. Like, in the ideal world, if we had something like that within kind of a reasonable level, I guess, depending on the size of the project, we could help with the proposal and then check in with different projects on a somewhat regular basis. And that would be, I think that would be valuable for the whole DAO.
Does anyone need any clarification on anything that I've shared, or like have any kind of response, you know, like a hot take on what I've shared. Just curious to see how this is landing for other people in the guild.
I think we need to hire Erida. He's experienced impro theater guy, and we're working together in the Satchery. Really loosen up the from your outside the PM.
On to the opinion with a lot. Formulated all that. Yeah, I'll be feeling free to share.
Devon, how are you? Or Kool-Aid? There is another task we need to do, and we need to plan for a retro for season 8, coming up in season 9. Cole, do you remember when we did you do our last PM Guild retro?
No, I think Hippolyte did the Sacred retrospective last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think if there's no other thoughts or topics that we should discuss, we might as well round off this meeting today a little bit earlier. And it's Gap Week coming up, so enjoy everyone, and we'll meet again in 2 weeks. See you later.
Oak Floors, thanks for jumping in to facilitate.
Thanks.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being able to do that on the fly.
Thank you. And thanks for the inputs, Skyfield, and sharing your knowledge. And Wednesday, thank you for doing the recording. And everyone else, have a nice weekend. See you in 2 weeks. Cheers.